barbershop conversation, guys. Um, got a special guest. We're gonna do our post fight reaction. And Lincoln, what you got to say? Thank you. All right, and we're gonna jump right into it. We're gonna yeah. I've been holding off my post fight press con because I want to do it with L_Supreme 88, everybody's favorite next trainer. And go ahead, man. Tell me, and I'll interject when you're done.
First of all, man, it was a hell of a day yesterday. Shout out to Freddie, man, for the event that started the day, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely, man. That was a hell of an event, Fred. Nextly, man, PBC put on a hell of a card, man. I was thoroughly impressed by the fights, man, that I was able to, get a chance to see. The main event, man, that took the cake by far, man, and it was definitely worth it in gold, man. First, I'm gonna start with Porter, man. A lot of people are saying that Porter was underestimated, which in some instances, yeah, he was, based on, from my perspective. Stylistically, I thought this would be a great fight for him. I mean, a great fight for Errol to be dominant and show some dominant qualities to take over the 147 division, quite convincingly. But big ups to the whole Porter camp, man. They did their job. They did their thing. And Porter, contrary to the lead up of all the things that his camp was, initiating for him to do that was new, Porter did what he was supposed to do, and that was to be Porter. He fought the best version of himself. He fought the best version of who he could have been. He put it right there in that fight. Arguably his best performance to date. We know this was a big fight for Porter. We know that he was up against a hell of a task against Spence. And we know that because his father brought in a lot of different variables into the camp. Number one being Barry Hunter. Anytime, that in itself speaks volumes about the opponent in Spence he was facing. If they felt as though they could have just continued using their same camp methods, they wouldn't have brought in all these different elements to the fight. So therefore, they knew that they needed to bring all the help that they can get and be the best versions of them of what they can bring together collectively. Porter did his job, man. I take my hat off to him. He applied pressure. He made Spence uncomfortable in some situations. He applied a lot of pressure, man, and he actually showed that he does have a lot of skill, man. He does have a lot of skill. He definitely showed it more than his previous fights, man. He really went all in on his training this time, and it really showed, man. He went off the line a lot of times, even though he was squared up. He used a lot of angles. He turned Errol a lot. Man, he didn't just bully his way in. Sometimes he did it with finesse. He did it with finesse, man. His fatal flaw, again, I'll point out, his fatal flaw was that his inability to be accurate with his punches. Had he been more accurate with his punches, it definitely would have been a different outcome. It definitely would have changed a lot of people's perspective about the scoring of the fight. It would have been a hell of a lot closer fight. And they damn near robbed the bank, man. It looked, I had it even up until about the 6th round. I believe, if I recall correctly, the 7th round is when Errol went straight to Porter, and he didn't allow Porter to come to him. And right then and there, I figured, okay, now he's engaging into being a dominant figure in the fight. But Porter, man, he did a lot of things good, man. I definitely applaud him, take my hat off to him. He applied that Porter pressure, and he did it the best he could have done it that night. Again, like I said, arguably his best fight to date. Now to go to Spence, man. Yes, I did expect Spence to dominate this fight. He did so in moments of the fight. One one element that I didn't take into consideration is the human element, like on both ends of the spectrum. I didn't expect this to be a fight where Spence would show a lesser version of himself than he did in the Garcia fight. I thought he was going to advance and progress off of that same performance that he had, and also too, I didn't think that Porter would be any better or miles better than he was against Ugas. So from both ends of the spectrum, we seen the tables flip. And this is not to say anything demeaning about Errol. If anything, I give a lot of credit to Errol because he showed that he can fight down to competition. Not to say that Porter was not competitive, because he was highly competitive, but the best version of Errol Spence we did not see last night. We seen a lesser version of a better Errol that we were all expecting. But again, that human element of imperfection against, maybe not being on your best that night, it came out in Errol. But to his credit, he showed that he can beat you fighting your fight. Errol won the fight decisively in my eyes. I had the fight 116-111 on my scorecard. I had the same fight, the same score as the two judges, 116-111. Errol showed that even in moments of uncomfortability, I can outperform you. And as the copy box numbers show, he was a far more accurate puncher. He was a far more precise puncher. He was a far more efficient puncher. His punches had more, they left a more of an effect on Porter than Porter left on him. Errol also showed that he can work well up under the gun, like, because Porter was in his face the whole night. And to me, this shows that he has ring maturity as well as ring wisdom. And he also, too, learned something from the fight last night. And I think probably the best lesson that he can draw from this is that never underestimate your opponent. I don't think he underestimated to the point where he didn't train, because they both trained. They both had a hell of a camp. And that was evident at the pace in which they fought. They fought like Mexican fighters, toe to toe. That shows the elite level that these guys are at, because Errol has a lot in his repertoire. He has a lot in his arsenal, and he brought it out. He showed Shawn that I can fight you toe to toe, be in an uncomfortable position, be up under the gun, be under the heat, be in the kitchen, and I can still outperform you where it counts. To me, that's an ode to Spence, man. He definitely impressed me with that, because he wasn't expecting that. Also, too, this how you know he wasn't expecting it. I believe he didn't have a nutritionist, he also too what was his strength and conditioning trainer name? Blu-ray.
Oh, Blu-ray.
Blu-ray. He didn't have him in the camp as he previously had. And I believe Blu-ray had a 11-11 record with him. 11-0, 11 knockouts.
11 knockouts.
That's amazing, man. That's a credit to that man's work.
Up until Mikey Garcia, so whoever, Lamont Peterson, everybody.
Right. So, I felt Errol kind of felt, and he kind of wanted to show that, man, I can beat you absence of all these things, and you can bring in all those additives that you want to bring in, and I'm going to still beat you because I'm just that more abundantly skilled, talented, and just a raw fighter than you. And he proved that. But in the midst of him proving that, he didn't live up to the expectations of many fans. And, as being a fighter myself and a fan of the game, I understand it. only those who really haven't probably fought and understand that you can't be perfect every night. They're the only one that's gonna complain about it, because if I was just a fan and I dropped down from space and seen this fight, I'd be like, damn, this is a hell of a fight, just off of human inclination. Like, wow, this is entertainment. But moving forward, this is definitely gonna be a learning experience for him, because he has to understand that he's flying at a high altitude, but this is never this is he's flying at a high height, but this is not cruising altitude. You got to keep a mental note and stay cognizant that everybody wants your position. So therefore, people will go above and beyond to be hungry enough and train hard enough and do everything within their power to take you out of your to knock you off your perch. So I think going forward, being the Spence that he has been, a student of the game, he will use this as a learning curve, and he's definitely gonna stay on top of his game. Much like Mayweather did. That's why Mayweather was untouchable. He never relinquished on what he did great and what kept him and put him over the top, and that was just conditioning. He always stayed in shape. When he was in camp, he probably outworked you 3 times, at minimum. And at this elite level, that's what it's about. It's about your conditioning. Everybody pretty much seen the same things in the gym. They've, heard all the advice from many different trainers and many different boxing gurus, but it's the conditioning and discipline. And I think Errol, he took something. He was humbled by this experience, because you can see in a post fight conference he was very gracious, and he was very complimentary of Shawn. And I think Shawn kind of surprised, like you said, man. You are when Shawn asked him, "Do I have skills?" He said, "Yeah, you do." He learned something from that. Did we see the best version of Spence? No, we didn't. So this is not to be taken, lightly by the rest of the division, to think that they might be able to go in there and knock Earl off his off his perch easily. Like, he's gonna make the adjustment, man. He's just that type of person. He got that special it quality about him. He saw the best version of Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter didn't see the best version of him. He has room to improve. Shawn Porter, that was his climax. That was the epitome of Shawn Porter. That was the zenith of Shawn Porter. We didn't see that on Earl. We seen, maybe 75% or 70%. I actually, me personally, I thought he would box more and use his distance, and then those moments in which he had the advantage, he would then take the fight to close quarters and further hurt Shawn off of a mistake that Shawn made. I definitely see room for improvement in Earl, and I think he will adjust. But man, it was a hell of a fight, though, man. Hell of a fight.
First, I want to give you credit for using the word abundant and zenith. I thought those are two.
Thank you.
Great words. Words of the week. Abundant and zenith. Actually, Nipsey Hussle used the word zenith and Blue Laces too, if I'm not mistaken. Blue Laces too, or Blue Laces too, or is it Real Big? I don't know. One of them. Yeah. Either of those 2 songs, he used the word zenith. And as I said the only way this fight is going to be great is if Shawn Porter came to fight. I said it would be an A+ level fight if Shawn Porter come to fight and didn't use the entire ring and engaged. Became Shawn Porter. And I remember me saying when Kenny Porter said they got game plan A, B, C, D, throw that shit out the window. Be the best version of Shawn Porter that got you the U.S. Olympian alternate, two-time world champion, and 31 wins, and 3 losses now, and 1 draw. Be that version. Just be the best version of yourself and make split-second decisions in real time. Very impressed with Shawn. I thought he was extraordinary. He could have laid down in the 11th round. Um, uh, his activity, his foot speed gave Errol problems.
Mm-hmm.
His ability to not. Here was an important part of the fight, which people aren't gonna get. When Earl stepped up and became a man in the fight, Shawn Porter stepped up and became a man in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Like, if you want to knuckle up, nigga, well, I'm gonna knuckle up with you. You understand? You want to box? Well, I'm gonna box with you. You know what I mean? And then when you get done, I'm gonna be Shawn Porter. If there were times in the fight when Earl would get off and then Shawn would just lunge at him. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Just even, I think even though Shawn believes he probably wasn't going to land a punch, but he says, I got to get my get back.
Definitely.
You know?
Definitely.
And I think that mindset set the tone. Shawn did a great job at keeping this fight on the treadmill. That's the only time he could have went. This ain't no walking park. Right. We were on a treadmill. We were running for 12 rounds.
Yeah, it was a hell of a pace.
Hell of a pace. And it was only 700 something punches thrown, which is kind of odd. And a low connect rate for Shawn.
Yeah.
And a low connect rate for Earl with his jab, but that gives credit to Shawn because he was offline a lot.
Yeah.
And we only see one angle, so we can't see it. So we're going to rewatch it at some point, and we'll see how offline Shawn was and the little subtle things that he did to offset Errol Spence.
Yeah.
With that being said, I had. Let me preface how I had the fight. Every round was like a basketball game. I always use a basketball analogy, but it's like a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament playing an 8 seed in the NCAA tournament. The 8 seed is probably the best team from a mid-major. The 1 seed is the best team from the major colleges, right? Like North Carolina versus Creighton, right? Matter of fact, let's use Texas versus Creighton since Terrence Crawford is from Omaha. Creighton is going to play tough. It's going to play tough. The last 30 seconds of the round is the last 2 minutes of a basketball game, right? The team with the best talent is going to make the free throws, right? It's going to make the plays coming down. It could be a 2-possession game the whole way through, but the team that gets the 5-star recruits, the McDonald's All-Americans, will make the free throws coming down the stretch by and large because they have greater talent. And we've seen this play out a lot where teams go back and back. The mid-major got a foul. Okay, leave it there. I'll get it in a second. They got to shoot free throws because the mid-majors got a foul. Well, the mid.
I didn't want that much fries.
Okay, you don't want no more? Okay, just put it on the table. I'll take care of it. And so what happens is the major team with the McDonald's All-American makes the free throws. The mid-majors got to come down and make threes and make fast layups, right? They may miss a layup or may miss a three. Now they got a foul. Now the lead goes to 6, right? Now they got to come down and shoot a 3. Long rebound. The major team gets off and gets a dunk. Now they're up 8, and the game is basically over. That's what the rounds were like to me. It was very entertaining. Earl will let Shawn get off because he knew he was kind of fatigued. He would let him get off. There was 2 or 3 rounds where Earl let him get off. And then he said, okay, now it's my turn. And Earl won the last 45 seconds of many of these rounds because there was like 4 or 5 rounds. Oh, let's just say 3 to 4 rounds. Where Shawn intentionally held on to condense the round.
Yeah, definitely.
Shawn can't win rounds when you're condensing the rounds like that. Yeah. And
he did a good job at managing the clock.
Yeah.
In those instances where he did hold. Yeah.
Because Shawn fought 2 minutes and 30 seconds of every round on average. I'm just using this as an example, guys. Don't hold me to the word per se. Errol Spence fought 3 minutes of every round because he's a McDonald's All-American, right? And the mid-majors only gets the guys from small-town America, per se, right? Or transfers, D1 transfers or rejects, you know. And that was the difference in the fight. Every round, or when the 50-50 rounds, 2 minutes in with 1 minute left, Earl stole it because he had greater talent, has a better pedigree, and he looked better doing it. Still going, looked better doing it, and um, that was the difference in the fight. Uh, I had it 8 rounds to 4 with a knockdown. Um, I don't see 7-5. I don't think it was that close. I thought the two judges had it right. I literally had it 116, 112. I had, if you hear my Andre Berto interview, I said I had it 8 rounds to 4. I don't know if I had the camera on or off, but I told Andre Berto I had it 8 rounds to 4.
Yeah.
And I'm not, and the 8 rounds to 4 does not mean Shawn Porter didn't fight a great fight. Fred, you're hating. No, 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 no. I just thought those 20 seconds of the round lost the fight. The same thing happened in the Keith Thurman fight, round 9, 10, or 11. Shawn got caught twice. 15 seconds of that fight cost Shawn that fight. He would have been a WBA world champion, I believe. And he had these small lapses, and that's the talent level. That's like Usain Bolt don't have to win gold medal by a second. He has to win it by 1 millisecond. And some of those rounds, Errol Spence was winning by 1 millisecond. The boxing pedigree, I said the entire duration of promoting this fight, which the channel did exceptionally well. How many pictures you take yesterday, El?
At least 10.
At least 10. We got over 5 million impressions the last week of this fight. You know what I mean? So people were very in tune to this channel. YouTube was sending my videos out to people, and you know what I mean, because this is the only social media network that I use. And I said that because I said Shawn Porter has difficulty fighting middle distance.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I've said this so many times. If Shawn Porter could fight middle distance, he would be a tough out.
That was actually my next point that I was gonna make reference to. Shawn, he did an excellent job. Like I told you last night, Fred. After the fight, I said Earl allowed Shawn to be first. 9 out of 10 times, Shawn went first, and that's a credit and a testament to his will to win and to get gritty. Like, Shawn really wanted this fight. Again, his fatal flaw was being inaccurate. His inability to land shots when it would have counted the most.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to be mistaken. He landed a hell of a lot of shots. Earl's face was, I've never seen his face like this.
We've never seen Errol look like that.
I've never seen, he walked by me, coming down the aisle, and I said, damn, man, Earl's face is plumped up. So Shawn landed some big shots. Hellified shots, man. Some of them, they didn't hurt Errol. I don't think Errol was ever hurt during the fight.
I believe Errol believed he could take his power.
He knew he could take his power. That's why he allowed him to initiate the action. Because he didn't feel like he was in danger of being hurt.
Sure.
So he allowed him to initiate it. Even if he got caught with a punch he didn't really expect or see, I don't think he felt like this man can hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what really put in Spence's mind that I'm going to sit here and fight his fight. I'm going to give him an opportunity to be great and to score points on me and actually win some rounds, because there was some times where Shawn's activity stole some rounds from Earl. When I look back at it, the 115-112 fight, 115-112. It was 115-112. Right?
That score don't make sense to me.
It didn't make sense at first, but I'm not going to knock it because...
How's he get 12?
I'm not going to knock it because if 1 out of 3 people see that, okay, they might favor that kind of style, because there was points where you could say, well, man, Shawn he stole that round. He did that a couple of times that I, clearly seen. Again, his fatal flaw was inaccuracy. And also, too, he would throw 3 or 4, sometimes 5 shots before he actually was in range. So he utilized all of his energy.
Mm-hmm.
He utilized all of his energy, and then when he got to Earl, he started holding, or he was already on the, on the regress because he was getting countered.
Mm-hmm. To Shawn's defense, he uses that to protect himself. It's like a lion's roar. You know what I mean? Like, raw, I'm here. He uses those because he's not necessarily as skilled. So he throws throwaway punches to like window wash you to make you react so he can, dig on you and get and find his angles. And I know it fatigues you over time, but
he was in hell of a shape though.
Because
Earl made some good early investments.
Great investments, yeah.
He made some good early investments to the body, and that damn Porter took it, man. They were both in dog shape. And like I said, Earl, of course, had more room for improvement in his fight. And again, it's a testament to him as well because he wasn't vintage Earl. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought this would also be his climatic, performance, but we all are human, you know what I mean? I think Earl more so wanted to just prove to Shawn that I'm going to knock you out, fighting your fight. And I just like Porter had that man down mouthpiece, and his whole camp was in anticipation of an expectation that it was planned. It was planned that they had that mouthpiece so they can clown Spence. Like, look, we already had this made for you. Man down. I'm quite sure he was thinking that he was gonna spit the mouthpiece out after he dropped him or something or whatever the case, but they probably threw that mouthpiece at him. Or it was something that they was planning with that mouthpiece.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that I felt like Spence had in mind. I'm going to beat you, and I'm going to talk about how I beat you using your plan. But even with these narratives, even though these narratives didn't play out and these plans didn't play out, man, we had a great show. And again, this is the appreciation a real boxing fan going to have for the fight. And any boxing enthusiast like myself and Fred, we going to have this, view that, man, we had a hell of a show, man. Like, both of them guys, man, I can't say nothing bad about them. I applaud both of them. I take my hat off to them. But let's not get this mistaken. Let's keep everything in context and perspective. Earl was the clear and concise winner. Of course, he didn't take care of business as he said he would take care of business and knock him out. He did drop him. He did land the most significant punch of the fight. He did hurt him. He did win the fight convincingly. And I'm also, too, not going to knock Earl for Porter having a hell of a fight. Like, he was supposed to step up and make this fight a dog fight. He was supposed to step up and make this fight a war. So I'm not going to knock Spence and say, oh, well, Spence didn't look so good because he allowed that. Nah. I would give him more applause that he handled it the way he handled it. Because anytime something we are encountered with something that's unexpected, especially when it's resistance, how many of us fold? You know what I mean? If somebody's hiding behind a wall and it's nighttime, and they are hiding in the alley behind a brick wall, and it's nighttime, and they come out and scare, of course you're gonna react because it's unexpected. So Earl seen something that was unexpected, and he handled it with maturity. So I give him credit for that. You get what I'm saying? And man, it was a hell of a fight, man. It was a hell of a fight. I take my hat off to Shawn Porter. I take my hat off to Errol Spence. Like, again, Spence, we're going to see a greater room for improvement. We are going to see this from Spence. Porter got a hell of a career still ahead of him. Man, maybe these two will meet again. You know what I mean? Under different circumstances, I do believe the fight going to turn out differently. And I also too think Earl kind of probably went away from the game plan because I don't know if it was the ninth. It was right before the knockdown. I saw Derek James jump in the ring, and he kind of jumped in the ring looking like he was kind of flustered, like, or a bit bothered at, the game plan Earl was carrying out. Because he hopped in there as if he wanted to get on his case about something, like, man, come on, man, get back into the groove and understand what we here for, because Earl, he was he was feeling himself, and he still wanted to knock him out. So I don't think Derrick James wanted him to fight that fight all the way. Of course, it grew comfortable. He grew a bit more comfortable, but then in the 11th, 12th round, he kind of seen that. I mean, about the 10th, 9th, 10th round, he probably seen that, damn, this fight is kind of closer. So he probably not panicked, but he had some sense of concern that, look here, man, we don't want to slip this. We want to win these championship rounds, and I believe Earl took the championship rounds, and that's what got him over the edge, especially the knockdown.
Mm-hmm.
It's growth in this game, man. You constantly learning. If you stop learning this game, you will shrink. Mm-hmm. And he didn't shrink, man. He didn't shrink in the moment. He he grew from that. He's going to grow from that. I'm quite sure he's doing a lot of thinking right now with a hell of a headache. Mm-hmm. And he probably like, I don't want to feel this again. So I'm definitely going to work on the things that I need to work on.
Yeah, you can see it in his tweets today. No nutritionist or strength and conditioning coach. I'm tired of losing 25 plus pounds, for camps. I think it's going to be hard for Shawn to get back to this level, because that Shawn Porter that we saw last night, is hell.
Yeah.
For everybody.
Yeah.
And when I say hell, I mean hell. I mean, that Shawn Porter is like me guarding you in basketball. Oh, you guys never seen me play. So I'm trying to think of the guy from the Clippers, Patrick Beverley.
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck wants to be guarded by Patrick Beverley for 48 minutes? You get what I'm saying? And that's what he gets paid $10 million to do.
Right, he don't have to score a bucket.
Don't have to score a bucket. Make an open three every now and again, and make Damian Lillard go 7 for 27.
Yeah.
Make Russell Westbrook get 7 turnovers. That's your job. That's worth 25 points to the Clippers. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I'll be honest, I don't want to put. I wouldn't want to play against Patrick Beverley. It wouldn't be my first option. I'd rather play Damian Lillard, who wants to outshoot me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Play defense, obviously, but definitely takes more pride in outscoring me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's going to be tough sledding for Shawn. You know what I mean? And I know the build up to this fight, it's over. Now we got to think of, how can Shawn feed his family for real? Like, I know he put on a great performance. I know this might be fight of the year. I know Shawn is in shape. I know Shawn, it is a proven fact Shawn is a hell of a competitor. Right? Moving forward, realistically, is Danny Garcia going to fight him? No. Is Keith Thurman going to fight him? Absolutely not. Does Errol Spence ever have to fight him again? No, he can just move up. You get what I'm saying? We know Manny Pacquiao's not going to fight him, And so these are the 4 fights that he needs to be on that level.
Yeah.
He can go to Top Rank, and which I think is the best move for them. Go to Top Rank and be Terrence Crawford's next opponent. I think that makes sense in the grand scheme of things. I know they've agreed not to fight each other, but at the end of the day, how ironic is this? Shawn Porter needs Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford needs Shawn Porter. That's funny, right? That has so much boxing humor laced in it. It's ridiculous, And I wish Shawn well. Like, at the end of the day, I want him to make all the money in the world. Regardless of the things I've said about Kenny Porter, they got kids and grandkids and family and team members to provide for. I never wish, like, death upon any man or like
something outlandish.
No, something outlandish like that. It's gonna be tough for Shawn, because he's like, man, he's like the bully on the neighborhood. Like, I'm not. If I can go the opposite way and it only takes me 5 extra minutes, I'm not gonna walk past Shawn Porter, because he's gonna bully me. Ask me for my 2 quarters I take to school every day. And that's the precarious position that he's in.
Yeah.
What they need to do is be media friendly. What they need to do, go to every fight. What they need to do is interview with everybody, whether you have 10 subscribers or 10 million subscribers. What you need to do is support the sport of boxing. Shawn Porter has a 1-year contract with Fox. I see Keith Thurman is trying to steal his job. For real, for real. I'm being real. I see it in him. Keith Thurman has that kind of in him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Got that sneaky like used car salesman selling home. The nigga walk in your house trying to sell you solar. He walk out selling you life insurance. You know what I mean? Like he's that kind of snake oil
Just
kind of.
dupe me.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's kind of like that. You know. I wish him well. You know. It's just gonna be hard for him. Those guys are not fighting Shawn ever again.
Yeah, I don't think they want to go through that.
And he has no value. Like
Yeah.
he has no boxing value. Like it was 16,700 people in there. I'm gonna keep it real with you. 16,000 of the motherfuckers were rooting for Errol Spence. Okay, let's say 13,000.
I'm gonna say I believe if I believe he does have value, man. If he didn't, and if so, he didn't before. He won over a lot of fans last night. You know, he won over a lot of fans at least that'll say, "I'll buy a fight to see him. I'll pay to see him again." You know, of course he'll have to have a good dancing partner, but I definitely do believe that he won a lot of fans over. Now it's up to his PR team to make him more of a likable guy as far as the perception of his character. You know, and he is a likable guy, but again, it's his father that's kind of messing that up for him. But Shawn is a nice guy, and his fighting style is fan friendly. Yeah, all the Mexicans in the building was rooting for Porter. You know, he had a lot of fans.
We're doing a video. Come here. Cat.
He had a lot of fans in the building last night, and a lot of them were Mexican fans. So he'll definitely do well on the West Coast. I'll give him that. Again, it's up to his PR team to make sure they push him in a likable light, man, because that'll definitely make him be able to sell. You know, that's where the money comes in to the play, and the marketing value comes into play on how well what you do alone. You know, with us giving you an opponent, because he don't need a guy that he's not you know, he don't need to come out the red corner no more. He need to come out the blue corner. He worked for that. You know what I mean?
He did against Ugas. He came out the blue corner.
Yeah, he need that. You know what I mean?
The confidence right now. Talking about right now.
He deserves that, man. You know, but he also needs to be able to carry a card alone, though. You know, and that. Like again, it's not that he don't have the fighting style. It's not that he don't have. He's a nice guy, man. But I think his father's influence upon him is kind of swaying the pay-per-view buyers, because a lot of people say they like him, but they're not gonna necessarily go spend $100 to see him. You know, they might pay $100 to see him in Pacquiao, but Pacquiao is carrying that fight. You know what I mean? I believe he has the ability to get it done.
Man,
me personally, I do. You know,
I said this at the beginning of this press tour. Shawn promoted himself all wrong. His first interview publicly was, "We're gonna sell the pay-per-view. We're going to bring all the celebrities out. That's not who you are, Shawn. Shawn, you are the greatest underdog story in the welterweight division. Be the underdog. Have pride in being the underdog. You're going to upset the apple cart. Walk around with a smile. You're going to shock the world. You understand? Like, have some Muhammad Ali in you. And comb that with some humility. Muhammad Ali, well, as I digress back into Shawn, just be proud of that. It's okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you gotta lace up your gloves just like he do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You gotta get the 147 like he do. You know what I mean? That was probably one of the biggest things that they did wrong, pretending that they're the ace high. You know, pretending that, Kenny pretending that he is like King Kong.
Yeah,
He should have been a humble father.
Yeah.
He should have told. See, let me finish. Excuse me.
No,
if I was talking to Kenny, and I've had so many conversations with Kenny. You gotta be more likable. I say this compassionately, not like all the antics that I did to promote the fight and create a division between Kenny and I. That's over. What I'm saying is this. He should have talked about how he raised Shawn as a single father. Boxing fans is probably 75% men. He should have talked. I would have, if if we were on speaking terms, I would have told him how to promote the fight. I would have told him.
That's a great point.
Talk about the baby pictures. Talk about you putting on the oversized gloves in him. Him, you being an atypical all-American dad. He played football, was great in football. You know, give the clips. Fight Hype is your ally. Give the clips to Fight Hype about him playing football. We've never seen a football clip of Shawn Porter.
Wow, that's
You
true.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Every athlete in the world on the A level,
Wow.
you see Errol Spence.
That would have been a hell of a marketing scheme because most football players think they tough guys. So he would have made, a hell of a lot of football players tune in.
But here's the catch: Fox has football.
Yeah.
When he went on that Fox show, they never showed his high school football highlights.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying? Like so one. I say that's why if you ever need advice, come to Barbershop Conversations. I'm the guru of this shit.
Yeah, that's
and I say this humbly, but I've been in the game long enough where I know how to find holes. I ran for public office. I know how to steal votes. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
I know how to convince dead people to vote for me, as a play on Chicago, But there were so many different angles they could have get. They should have shot. They shouldn't have did Kenny Porter, I'm the tough guy. Shawn Porter, I'm more popular than Errol. One, you're not more popular than Errol, and no one cares about the trainer being tough. No one cares about that, like for real. On the boxing level, yeah. No one cares. On the street level, yeah, you can be mafioso guy, but that doesn't sell tickets.
Right.
What sells tickets is why wasn't the mother in fight camp? We've never met Shawn's mother. I've met Shawn's mother. Nice woman, beautiful woman. Humble, the whole shebang, and tell both sides of the coin of the story. Why is Kenny a single father? Why? You had the perfect opportunity to build the Porter brand, but they tried to bully Errol Spence and Papa Doe, say another black man. See, when a black man tells another black man he's unintelligent, he's splitting the vote, right? And everyone's, if they're rooting for you, they're going to look at you sideways now because you're disrespecting a harmless little poodle, per se. Not that Errol Spence is a poodle, but he's likable. You can pick him up. You can hold him. You can, you know what I mean? You can do all this. So that's the point that I'm making. They didn't promote the fight well from the Porter brand. I honestly would have told them how to promote themselves, but they didn't do it. I mean, we're not on speaking terms. I don't think we'll ever be on speaking terms ever again. But I can forgive him, and he can forgive me moving forward. I'm sure. That's just the reality. That's just the reality of the beast, man. And now Shawn has to go search high and low and not beg for fights. Like, please give me a fight, but he has to work. He literally has to work. Andre Berto's not gonna fight him. Robert Guerrero might fight him. You know what I mean? But who wants to see that fight?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, tell me a person right now you could think of that's willing to step in the ring with Shawn Porter and be a main event in Barclay.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, man, I do believe that you mentioned it, man. I kind of see that Terrence Crawford
They need each other.
And
they need each
Shawn
other.
Porter.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times you hear people say, I won't ever fight. If I'm not mistaken, this was said about Spence and Porter. If I'm not mistaken, they mentioned something about that. I don't know if it was a year or two ago.
He's not on my. Well, Porter says he's not on my radar. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I think he specifically said we're not going to fight.
Did he? Okay.
If I'm not mistaken,
you could be right.
It was something said to that effect, if not the exact words.
You could be right.
A lot of times people say that, and things change. Anything's subject to change, especially depending on how a person feels, and if the situation calls for it, and he need the money, and they need to make the fight, then shit, why not? They professionals in the sport. They know how to make it entertaining without killing each other. If they that much of friends, you know what I mean. And shit, even if they have to make it to the point where we gotta hurt each other to make it good, man, you know what you signed up for.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah,
You know what I mean. So I'm not gonna buy into that. We're not gonna fight each other stuff. You know what I mean. Because I think that'll be a good next move for both of them.
Sure. I mean, Terrence Crawford, yeah.
Especially if we can't.
Matter of fact, we should start promoting that fight.
Yes, that's a good idea. You know, especially if we can't get the Spence and Crawford, because I do believe that's the consensus.
I mean, no disrespect. I'd rather Shawn Porter get the fight than Luis Collazo.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's a black man. And it looks like that may be the next and only move because, and I don't know what they do behind making the deal, but the deal got to get done, you know?
And to a lot of people saying that, you had kind of like last night played out, a lot of things, and I think kind of played out in the hands of the sport of boxing as a whole, especially moving forward in the 147-pound division. You know, you had your Spence fans who still, team man down. You had your Porter fans who say, oh, man, he won and he's not that, Spence is not that good. Then you got the T-Buff fans. He ain't ready. This is good.
That's good for boxing.
That element is good for boxing.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say this again, when you look at the totality of everything, especially as it, my guy is still, Spence. Definitely. Again, I see room for improvement. But I'm glad he got this. I'm glad he got this fight in the fashion that it turned out and how everything played out, because going forward, fighting Crawford, this is a good wake-up call to understand that any slip in your game or any slit in your armor, hey, you leaving yourself open to the unexpected happening. And for a guy like Crawford, this is dangerous because Crawford adds, more elements and more precision, more sharpness than Porter. So I think this was a major tune-up mentally and in physical preparation, strategical preparation for a guy like Crawford. This only helps strengthen Errol Spence's next move if it happens to so be Terrence Crawford.
Yeah.
I think this is definitely going to help him in preparation for Crawford, because Crawford is a hell of a guy, hell of a fighter as well. The 147 weight division, that's definitely like right now that's the darling of boxing division right now. Like, it's a lot going on at that division, and I definitely want to see before Earl goes up. I would definitely like to see him unify the division, or for somebody to unify that 147 division. My guy to do it is Spence for sure, and I know he like you said, he made mention of him tired of having to drop 25 pounds. His body wants to go up, man, and I think he's getting tired of having to cut that weight. And contrary to my belief, when I saw him, I thought Earl looked better at leading up to the weigh-in and everything. And I thought Shawn Porter was kind of drained, man. But I don't know if that was the reason why we seen a subpar Errol Spence, in some fashions of his game. I don't know if it was the weight, the weight thing. It could have been, man. But that probably more so for the,
Sure.
for not having Blu-ray in camp, his strength and conditioning, But yeah, going forward, I think this is going to be a great learning curve for him, man. But it was a hell of a fight, man, for both of them. Hell of a fight for the sport, man. I think we need to, instead of criticizing, congratulate him, man, because if you ain't been in that ring and you ain't never, had to go through what they go through, even a portion of it, man, to criticize a man for our entertainment, like Deontay Wilder said all the time, man, we entertain y'all. We put our life on the line.
Right.
I don't think people understand how serious that is. Just go to a gym, get in shape for about 3 months, go through the sparring and everything. I guarantee you're going to have a different respect for what fighters do, man, especially world-class fighters who are pissing blood in their training camps.
Shawn's only pissing blood for 3 weeks, man.
You know what I mean? I'm telling you that
Earl's gonna have headaches for 3
They don't
weeks.
tell you this side of it
Yeah.
because y'all think
Earl can't sleep tonight.
I'm telling you, he's got a headache right
He
now.
got a headache out of this way. He can't hear.
He's got a headache right now, and he's saying to himself, "I won't ever go through that again."
Mm-hmm.
So he's going. He knows his room for improvement. Derrick James is in his ear, letting him know we got a lot of talk. We got a lot to talk about, and he's nodding his head and saying, "You right, coach. You right. I apologize for going against the grain because I'm quite sure Derrick James, from the reaction that I seen, Derrick James when he jumped in that ring,
I gotta watch it.
He was like looking like this wasn't the fight plan. Like going into the championship rounds, he was like, "This is not the fight plan. This wasn't the fight plan. You need to win these rounds." And Errol Spence responded like a true champion.
And that song came on.
That's when he started dancing. That's when he started. It was like. Man.
It's like it was it was like synergy from Derrick James to the DJ.
I'm telling you, man. And he got it together, man. He got it together, and he won them 10th, 11th, 12th rounds, man.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
And shout out to Shawn Porter. I'm prolific, so gifted.
Oh yeah, walking out.
I'm the type that's gonna go get it. No kidding.
Yeah.
Breaking down Swish in front of your building, man. He switched from that gospel song to that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you one thing: what you should have did, Shawn, you should have flip-flopped it. You should have played that intro to get the crowd hyping on your side because you're in Los Angeles, California. I personally would have responded to you. I didn't respond to Mary Mary. You get, I mean, like from a like type of,
right.
You know what I mean? Like I know you're coming out. Like here comes Shawn Porter, but the crowd would have been like, I'm prolific, so gifted. I'm the type that's gonna go get it. No kidding. I'm telling you one thing. I'm emotionally. Look at my goosebumps. I'm emotionally attached to Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
My son will be emotionally attached to Nipsey Hussle. Every person that was in, half the people that I had a conversation with, that was a subscriber from me. Hey Fred, how far is the Nipsey Hussle store from me? Right?
Yeah. A lot of people actually went down there.
Yeah. I took 2 subscribers. I took Lauren and I took Moisey. Thrill in Manila, you know what I mean? So I think that overall, great performance, Shawn. Yeah, you should have played the hip hop song first, but you know what I mean? If I was still talking to you, I would have told you to flip it. You know what I mean? Little subtle things make a big difference. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's the little things.
It was too late when they flipped it. It was too, because I know the cue was when he walks in the ring, you got to say pro. No. Get the crowd up first. Get the crowd up. You know what I mean? That's why when people go on stage, they do covers before they go into their original piece. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Overall, great performance, Shawn. I genuinely, spiritually wish you well moving forward. You know, it's just going to be hard for you to find an opponent. You're too good. Like, you know,
it's kind of like he superseded his expectations, which is kind of scary, like that man. But I don't think another opponent will get him up like this again. You know, maybe if he has a hunger to get the belt again from, another belt, but it was kind of like Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier and Ali. That was his. Ali got him up. You know, Ali got Frazier up. Minus those fights in his career, we wouldn't have talked about Joe Frazier as much. You know, minus those Ali fights, we wouldn't have talked about him as much. But Ali was able to get him up to show that he's a great. That he was he was deserving to be called great. And Shawn Porter, this is his greatest performance. And only a guy like Errol will be able to get him up for that. You know, I don't see nobody able. This was his peak performance. I don't see no other fighter being able to get him up like that. Maybe I'm wrong because I was partially wrong on some things that I mentioned. You know, not necessarily theoretically, but I just didn't see. I didn't see the fight playing out in some respects as it did because of the human element that was involved. I didn't think that we would see a totally different Shawn Porter than his last fight. I didn't think we would see a totally different Errol Spence than his last. I thought he would carry on from the Mike Garcia fight and box his way into a brilliant performance. But man, he slugged his way to victory. Shawn made him earn it.
He earned it. He earned his pay.
And I give Shawn credit for that. He said, "I'm not laying down for you. I know I'm the underdog here. I know I'm the underdog. Listen to me again. Despite the build-up, I know I'm the underdog here. Mm-hmm. I brought in all these different elements that I've never used before to try to beat you. Mm-hmm. I used all these additives to make the food taste better. You know what I mean? I did that because I know what I was up against. So, again, that's an applause to Team Spence, man. But I'm going to end by saying great performance by both parties, man. Team Spence, Team Porter. Kenny, if you're watching, man, I applaud you on everything you've done because you came in knowing that the world was against you, man. Y'all damn near robbed the bank. Y'all had y'all moments in the fight where y'all looked special, man. And a few more adjustments would have made the fight a lot different. My hat goes off to Team Spence, Derek James, and y'all. Man, room for growth, but even absence of that, man, Errol showed that he's gold, man. He's golden. Mm-hmm. Gold is refined through fire. Mm-hmm. He definitely showed that he's the purest of gold and that he would respond to being put up under the heat, man.
Yeah.
Way to go. Your room for growth will be solidified. It will. You will show progress, man. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of everybody in the boxing world, man. PBC. They really stealing the boxing show, man, by putting on hell of an event, man. But that sums it up for me in total, man.
I totally forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, what I was gonna say is that the last two fights, Errol Spence beat Shawn Porter at fighting Shawn Porter style, and he beat Mikey Garcia fighting his style. That deserves some credit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you got to give the man credit for being a chameleon in the ring. You got to give the man credit for having those tools in his toolbox. Definitely. You know? And at the end of the day, I say this humbly because the reason why I'm prefacing it is because how I built up this fight. But Fred, you're hating. I don't give a fuck about hate. You know what I mean? I never compare. My nose looks different than that man's nose. My eyes looks different than L's lip. How the fuck can I compare my lips to his lips? Mm-hmm. God constructionally made me motherfucking different. Yeah. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, great job by both camps. Errol won. He moves on to greener pastures. And if they're smart, Kenny got to drop his ego. Shawn got to continuously be himself, develop. He has to be the greatest commentator. You know, he got to study to be a great commentator. You know, he has to be more active on his social medias. You know what I mean? Be more people friendly. You know, invite people into your house. You know what I mean? Like, invite people in so people can see what's going on in your life. You know, when you're driving down the street, do a 15-second story. You know what I mean? You guys are the two most popular guys in sports right now. Wednesday, it's over. We're moving on to Carissa Shields this week. And after that, we're going on to Triple G. And I'm just being honest. That's what the boxing public's going to do. And then the Shakur Stevenson in a couple of weeks. And boxing just keeps on rolling. But for these next 72 hours, you know what I mean?
Enjoy it. Make
the most of it. If you don't maximize this moment, Shawn, and use your social medias while people are still thinking about you, and you're trending in some parts of America right now, you know what I mean? Do it. If not, oh well. But I say, overall, great fight. Great fight. You know, you literally pushed Errol Spence to the brink. Errol Spence had to make a commitment to this fight. Yeah. Like a real life commitment, you know what I mean?
And he said he committed to fighting Shawn fight, and which I believe he had predisposed thinking. Uh-huh. But when he got into the thick of things, he realized that I'm here, and this is where it's gonna be. Yeah. Let's go, motherfucker.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and see, Errol thought it was because he was going to the body first 3 rounds pretty good, so he's like, Errol's head. 6th round, I'm going to have this dude out. And honestly, everyone in the crowd thought the same thing. Don't lie. Yeah, don't lie to yourself right now.
I did. I said, damn, they
These
still
niggas
here
going to
fighting
the
at this
body.
pace? I said,
Now,
woo.
round 6 or 7, you like, oh shit, Shawn, I respect you.
He was in
I
hellfire
respect
shape.
you. And then round 7 or 8, you heard the crowd go, Shawn, what is it, Porter, or something? Or Showtime, whatever they were saying.
Yeah. It was rooting.
They were rooting. I told you, there's going to be a faction in that crowd that loves rooting for underdogs. It happens in every sport in the world. You know what I mean? We love underdog story. You're looking at 2 underdog story right now because this is America, right? So at the end of the day, I'm done. This is what, fucking hour and minutes. That's too long, but it's too right. So go ahead, get your social medias and all that.
L_Supreme88. Y'all know what it is, man. If you ain't hit the like button, the subscribe button, man, go ahead and do so, man. Get more content, man, because Fred kicking it 100% factual, man.
Hey, we should do Ask L. If you guys got a question, because he's the boxer, I'm not the boxer. If you guys got a question for L, hit my DM or my email. My DM is Silent Heroes, no E at the end. SILENTHEROS. And my email is FHAW17@gmail. Or hit his DM, L_Supreme88, and ask him the questions, and we'll come on and do it.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So, barbershop conversations, man. Feel free to hit the subscribe button, and talk to you guys soon. Peace.